most of Israel acts like they've been cloned. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say shalom to you Akim and Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. All right. And as you can see here on the screen, we got a scene from a movie called They Cloned Tyrone. All right. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch it. All right. I kind of beat around the bush on watching it. All right. I did, but I'm not a big Slack you. Let me grab a drink real quick. Alright, I'm not a big movie watcher, but I knew at some point I wanted to watch it. All right, to weigh it through a spiritual point. All right, because brothers, Elder Manata Zakba of GMS South Carolina, he was talking about it. I believe it was referenced by many other brothers, and elders even. I'm not sure if the apostles are talking about it. I'm sure they have. But I wanted to watch it just for simply that reason, all right? And the wife put it on last night. I was kind of on my computer. And, that's usually how it goes with the movies for me. Like I said, not a big movie watcher, but she'll put it on something, and it'll gradually grab my attention. All right, so I was sitting at the desk and, out in the like kind of a loft area. All right, we got a TV out there. She put it on the TV, and, I basically saw the whole movie. I heard it, all right, and watched. I'd say like 95% of it. There might have been a few little visual elements I missed here and there just because I wasn't physically looking at the screen. But for the most part, halfway through, my attention was almost entirely diverted to that. And man, this movie, hey man, don't sleep on it. I did, like I said, not a big movie fan, but hey, if you're a fan of movies, don't go and watch it for sure. You'll enjoy it. I liked it. I enjoy movies when I do watch them. I just don't get around to them a lot. Everybody has their thing, but hey, this movie, man, went in deep. All right, there's a lot of scenes in there that have you thinking, all right, especially when you know this truth, man. It'll have you thinking, man, they must know something. The whole time I was watching that movie, I was like, man, these guys got to know something. All right, these guys got to know some things. And prior warning, all right, there may be spoilers in here. All right, of course we are talking about it. But there may be spoilers in it, so if you haven't seen it, maybe I don't know, go watch one of the older lessons you've missed. All right, I'm sure there's something on there that you haven't watched, or you can find something from one of the other brothers, of course. Or if you don't care about spoilers, hey, you can stay here. But we're gonna be talking about it, man. This scene, I pulled up this scene because this was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. All right, now I can't remember the name of the. I think the place is called Goddamn Fried Chicken. All right, Goddamn Fried Chicken. All right, and it kind of reminded me of Popeyes. All right, now if we look at Popeyes, and my wife's in the truth as well, and she made this what's the word? If I could think of the word. When you find something, goddamn it, what is it? She made this discovery, not discovery. What the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Anyway, she came to the fact, all right, that she's like, oh shit, that's Popeye's chicken. All right, that's basically Popeye's chicken, and I was thinking it as well. All right, because, well, we'll get there in a minute why it's Popeye's chicken. All right, but we'll get there in a minute why that is. Now, if we just look at the branding, it's not necessarily super similar. Let's look at a Popeye's chicken cup. Let's do like the 80s. I don't know if they were around in the 80s. I think they were, but I don't know. Looking pretty similar. Looking pretty similar. And they're not exact. They're not exact, but even the cups kind of look similar. I know a cup. There's a cup somewhere that looks just like this damn cup. All right. There's someone that looks. The colors are very similar. All right. Orange orangish red, that's like orangish down there, and red and yellow, and that's kind of look at the colors of Popeyes, man. Orange, red, all right. So it's hey, orange, red, and yellow. Look at the colors of Popeyes. And this movie was set, back in the day. I think like late 80s, 90s, sometime during that. Might have been the 90s. We can look that up. When is they cloned Tyrone set in? 70s and modern day, despite feeling like the 70s and 90s. Yeah, it feels like the 70s through 90s, man. All right, but I guess it was set in modern day. But it just shows you how Jake hasn't changed. But look, man, the wood paneling, all that. Look at the old school hoe, the old school pimp. So I'd say it's like you could be safe by saying the 90s. All right, late 80s, mid 90s. Okay, and look at the fucking colors, man. Look. You just gotta think, and we came to this matter, I can't remember exactly how it went down. I think I said it looked like Popeyes or something, and she said, "Holy shit, that is Popeyes." And now, spoiler, there's gonna be a spoiler, okay, right here, okay. So, I guess I could always just mention when there's gonna be spoilers, but I'm not the best with calling those things out. I might end up rambling about it and giving something away, but spoiler, all right. They're sitting. Here they are. They have what was his name? I can't remember all the names. His name was started with it. Let's see. They cloned Tyrone. I think her name was like Yo-Yo or something. Yeah, Yo-Yo Fontaine. And then the pimp, played by Jamie Foxx, was named Slick Charles. Okay, so you have, where are we at? We have Slick Charles, Fontaine, and Yo-Yo, right? The hoe. All right, the hoe, the pimp, and the drug dealer, right? The hoe, the pimp, and the drug dealer. Okay, and they go down, and they end up finding some things out. All right, well, we're spoilers at this point. All right, so they end up finding this laboratory, all right, in this trap. Okay, and they end up going down there and they find this white powder, and pimp, I already forgot his fucking name, some ridiculous name. All right, the pimp, he ends up finding this white powder, and he's like, "Oh shit, look, they got the sugar down here." All right, speaking of cocaine, and they try it and they start laughing hysterically. Right, it's this government lab that they find. Now he ends up finding himself. All right, Fontaine, this guy ends up finding him because he got shot. All right, I guess a day or so prior. All right, killed. All right, guy rolled up on him and dumped on him. All right, and he was dead. All right, but he ended up waking up the next day, and he ended up finding this lab. All right, because he asked Yo-Yo if she saw anything last night, because everyone was like, "You dead?" He said, "You ghost of Christmas past ass motherfucker coming up in my house. I thought you were dead." All right, that's what the pimp said. All right, to goddamn, I already forgot his name. What's his name again? Fontaine. All right. So he said that to Fontaine because he saw Fontaine get shot up, man, dead. All right, but then anyway, they end up finding this trap because Yo-Yo was out there hoeing, all right, and saw where the guy went, heard gunshots, didn't necessarily see Tyrone get, not Tyrone, but Fontaine, all right, and I don't know who necessarily Tyrone is. I guess it's just a generic black name because there was no one, not that I know of, named Tyrone, all right, in the movie, all right, but this guy's like the main character, so I thought he was Tyrone before his name came out because he's kind of like the main character, but his name is Fontaine, so I don't know why they went with the name. It should have been they cloned Fontaine, but I get what they're talking about with Tyrone. Just need Jake, all right? It's a common Jake name. It's just like Bill, all right, for white folk. Okay, so anyway, they're sitting. Anyway, that whole powder thing went down, and then he's freaking out because he ends up finding his dead self, all right, riddled with bullet holes and all that shit, all right, sitting in like a body bag type thing, all right. And anyway, they go, and he's freaking out, all right, the next day because they're like, "Look, we need to sleep and just think about this," all right. And I think they ended up going here the next day. They're sitting down, and they're eating chicken, all right, as they would, right, Jake? You know, we love us some chicken, right? And all of a sudden, Fontaine starts laughing hysterically, and what's his name? Slick Charles starts saying, you know, he says, I'm gonna just say ninja, but he's like, man, he says, man, look at that, he's laughing. I ain't never seen this ninja laugh. He's like, man, can't believe I've never seen this ninja laugh. I've never seen this ninja laugh. What? Wait a minute, I've never seen this ninja laugh. And then he looks around, and everybody in there's laughing. All right, Yo-Yo's laughing, Fontaine's laughing. He said he's never seen him laugh. He's super stern. Everybody's laughing. It's and he's like, oh shit, I've never seen him laugh. And it says, put the chicken down. He slaps it out of his hand. All right, I think he slaps or yanks his hand away. He says, put the chicken down. It's in the chicken. And they're like, what? He's like, it's in the chicken. He says, that powder that was making us all laugh. That was, you know, because what's his name? I keep on forgetting his Slick Charles, some dumbass name. Slick Charles and Yo-Yo, all right, were sniffing it, thinking it was cocaine, and they started laughing hysterically. He's like, yo, when me and Yo-Yo were sniffing it, we started laughing uncontrollably. They're putting the shit in the chicken, all right? They're putting the shit in the chicken, making them act some type of way. And man, that scene was heavy because they do put shit in our food, man. All right, let's see if I can find the chicken scene. We'll play the chicken scene, all right? Check it out, just real quick. Well, I guess you ain't gonna. Well, this is the part right here. It don't have the audio, which is I guess for the best. But they're munching on it, all right, and they're getting into it. They're having a good time. He starts laughing, all right. He starts laughing. They're all laughing, right? Look at everybody in the room, and he starts getting concerned. Oh man, they didn't have it. And I was hoping they were gonna have that scene. Yeah, here it is. You can see. But here we go. Gotta skip a little bit. They all start laughing. This is the part right here. Oh, he said motherfucker. I thought he was saying, yeah, alright.
Uh-oh.
Whoever that is needs to shut up. Look at everybody.
Oh, shit.
He kind of goes into like it has that like creepy music, and he's kind of like having a realization. He's looking down at the chicken, he spits it out, and yeah, see, it's chicken. And hey man, there's a lot of truth in this movie, man. And the people that are doing it, look. Now, what so-called white people have froze? There's only one group of so-called white people that have froze. Do you know what people that is? See. That's all you gotta know. That's all you gotta know. Alright, that's the only so-called white people that have froze. Alright, and it's not a real fro. Alright, and they really, it's, you know. But, and they have the big noses and all that shit, because it's the Amalekites, man. Alright, and you know who the Amalekites are. They're the fake us's, right? So they're the fake us's. Okay, without saying too much, right? So, you know, it has, hey man. But, a lot, not a lot. I was gonna say a lot of you Jakes act like they've been cloned. That's a good one too. But most of Israel acts like they've been cloned. Okay, acts. Highlight on the word acts, and that's all they've been cloning brothers out here. No, I'm going on, and who, you know, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about, you know, if there are clones or not. We're not talking about that. Or we're talking about most of Israel acts like they've been cloned. All right, and really to understand this lesson fully, you basically have had to have watched. All right, because they are cloning people. All right, and I'll basically give you the rundown of how it goes in case you haven't, and you decided to stay for the spoilers. The rundown is basically there's archetypes. All right, and they have to have them in the hood. All right, the drug dealer, the pimp, the hoe, right? They have to have them. They put them in the hood. All right, so there's archetypes, man. Okay, and they have to have them in the hood. All right, for all the Edomite stuff, the so-called white people stuff to go well. All right, they have to keep Jake like this. All right, and that the end, there's a scene. All right, and that's really and we're again, if you really want to see the movie, we're about to blow the whole thing, all right, because we're gonna give away the ending right now, because that's basically what we're talking about. And at the end, Fontaine finds old Fontaine. All right, when they're doing a raid on the lab. All right, they basically get the whole hood together and they do a raid on this lab. All right, they end up finding the lab because the lab kept moving around, and they found it everywhere. The lab was linked to everything. All right, the chicken, the strip clubs, all right, the chicken shops, the strip clubs. All right, the church, all right, was set up to make them submissive, all right, and not question anything, all right, and it had direct routes into there. They had rooms heading into the lab in the chicken shops, rooms heading into the room in the strip clubs, rooms heading into the room in the church. I don't remember if it was in the chicken room, but I know they had some secret documents in there, all right, and like TVs. So it was everywhere, man. Every major place linked to those places, all right. So, and they end up going down to the big lab. They got down to the big lab. All right, and you know, some shit goes down. All right, and anyway, he ends up at some point finding old Fontaine. All right, and that's basically the guy who he came from, because he's just a clone. Okay, he's just a clone. That's all he is. So they end up having a conversation. All right, now Fontaine lost his little brother. I believe it was his little brother, and you know, and that's basically what spurred the guy, because it was old him. He was working for the white folk. All right, and the reason he got into the genetic work and cloning is because he wanted to see if there was a way he could bring back his little brother. All right, and that's what he's saying. All right, but then they start getting talking, and long story short, all right, old what was his name? I already forgot his goddamn name, man. I'm terrible with names. What was his name, man? Fontaine. Gotcha, Fontaine. I can remember a dumb name like Yo-Yo and Slick Charles, but now I forget. I'm always forgetting one of their name. Anytime I know two of the names, the other one's gone. Fontaine, Slick Charles, and Yo-Yo. So Fontaine met up with old Fontaine, all right, and they're talking, and old Fontaine was saying that this all happens for a reason. It's bigger than you. All right, and that, you know, and at one point there was a scene with a white guy, but there, man, hey, there's so many lessons that could be made out of this, but but anyway, he tells him that this is what has to happen for assimilation. All right, that's just how it has to work. All right, they've been doing it for years. It's bigger than them. It's years. It's been going on for years and years and years, man. All right. So that's just the way it is. That's what they had to do, all right, in America to have assimilation, all right? And that's basically where our lesson starts up, is dealing with assimilation, okay? Cultural assimilation. And that's because that's what part of it touches on, is the cultural assimilation. And through that, how do they get that cultural assimilation? Putting shit in the chicken, putting shit in the food. There's a scene where they have a black woman, a so-called black woman, and it's like feeding her, they have her like getting, that's what it was. In the beauty shops, it was in the fucking like gels and the shit and all the beauty products that they put in your hair. That the weird shit chemicals were in that to make them act a certain way, to make them feel insecure. All right, and talking about beauty and beauty and beauty and beauty and beauty. They're in the lab. They were having women. It was beamed in them about beauty. All right, and then there was another one where they had two Jakes beating the shit out of each other, and the song was called "Kill a Motherfucker." All right, that was the name of the song. All right, and it had speakers in there, and it showed on the screen "Kill a Motherfucker," and then they switched it All right, well, it was Kill a Motherfucker was playing, and they were beating the fuck out of each other. And they switched the music, and they looked at each other, and they started hugging each other. All right, and that shows you that they do that. Man, there was a lot of truth in that movie, man. There's a lot of truth in that movie. All right, so if you haven't seen it, go and see it. It was crazy, but we're dealing with the culture assimilation. All right, that's the main part we're touching on today. All right, first we're gonna get Hebrews 12 and 6. All right, and that's not the one. I don't know. Give me a minute. 16, Slakia. 16. All right, I end up forgetting a 1. So Hebrews 12 and 16 says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." And we know about fornication, all right, sexual wickedness and evilness, all right, and weird, gross stuff, sleeping with animals, homosexuality, all that stuff, right? Or it could be spiritual fornication, right? But we're dealing with this word profane, right? What does profane mean? All right. Profane means, and we really need the real word, profane, to treat something sacred with irreverence, disrespect. All right. Some other words, profane, and we're just gonna have to get the Blue Letter Bible because they never want to give us any definitions anymore. All right, at all. They never want to give us anything, so we got to resort to the Blue Letter Bible. Profane. All right. Unhallowed, all right, of men, ungodly, all right. What does it mean to be ungodly? Let's look up that word. Unholy, godless, irreligious, immoral, all right. What is immoral? All right, unethical, bad, wrongful, wicked, evil, all right, evil, villainous, nefarious, right, sinful, devious, all right, degenerate, all right, perverted, all right, evil, as Elder Hawad says, all right, which I believe he got that from Mermaid Man from SpongeBob, all right, which we all love some SpongeBob, right? So no one evil, wicked, gross, disgusting, wicked, profane, vile, all right, sinful, all right, as Esau, right, the so-called white man, all right, the red man himself, not white. So we say so-called white because that's what he calls himself, but he's really red, all right, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. He sold his birthright, all right, as the firstborn son for some meat, man. Done. So no one's as evil as this guy. Okay. Now the word we want to get is we want to define cultural assimilation because that's a word that's mentioned within the movie. I don't think it's cultural assimilation, but just the word assimilation in general. Okay. If we just look up the word assimilate, it says assimilate. Assimilate. Take in information, ideas, or culture and understand fully, all right? To fully, integrate into a society, right? To fully integrate into a society. Integrate. What does that word mean? Integrate. Because that's what it's always about, integration, all right? That MLK bullshit, that fucking STD-ridden fuck, all right? That bastard, all right, MLK, what did he do? He wanted us to integrate, all right? Which only made things worse for Jake, mind you, all right? And later on, he actually had a quote that said, "I fear I've led my people into a burning house." Let's read it. Dr. Martin Luther King, the bastard himself, all right, and he's not a good guy. He was a piece of shit, all right, and Jake was taught that he's a good guy, all right, but he was working with the enemy, man. He was working with the enemy and for the enemy. All right, this is a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. It says, "I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house." We just talked about that word, integration. I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house. All right, a burning house is fine for a little while, right? If it's just burning from the top, if you're on the bottom, all right, or if it's burning from the bottom and you're on the top, you'll be fine for a little while, but eventually that whole house is going to burn up. All right, eventually that whole house is going to burn up. All right, another one. I'm afraid that we're integrating into a burning house. All right, so he realizes at the end that he fucked up. All right, and the piece of shit that he was, and he was evil. No one should ever idolize MLK. All right, you shouldn't idolize anybody, but especially not MLK. He was a piece of shit, man. If you looked up things about him, all right, he hand in hand with the elites. If you don't like the elites, why would you like him? Because he was one of the elites' lackeys, man. Integrate. Combine one thing with another so that they become a whole. You can't mix vodka with milk. It just does not work. You can't mix vodka with milk. All right, what happens? What happens if you mix vodka and milk? The milk coagulates and separates when mixed with the vodka. Interesting. Interesting. You know, you can't mix them together. Milk will curdle when mixed with alcohol. The whole batch is bad. All right, the whole batch is bad. The milk's bad, the vodka's bad, it's bad. All right, and that's what happens when you integrate. That's what happens when you assimilate. All right, to take in information, ideas, or culture and understand fully. You can't fucking assimilate with Esau, Jake. All right, that's why a lot of you Israelites act like you've been fucking cloned, man, because you've been gone through that process of assimilation. You've taken in their ideas. You've taken in their cultures. You've taken in what they say is right. You've taken in their religions. All right, and now you're all fucked up, Jake. That is not for us. That is not for us. Those are not for us. All right, we can't take in their information. And a matter of fact, the Bible says don't do it. Do not do it. Don't do it. Stop. Don't do it. Stay away from it. All right, but that's what these people want. They want cultural assimilation. They want us all to assimilate. Why? Because if we assimilate, we'll act like them and we'll act the way that they want us to act. All right, and we're really not, you know, we're acting their, you know, and we're acting like them. Okay, our people are acting like them. Okay, because murder and drugs and homosexuality and you know, prostitution and all those things aren't natural Jake customs. Those aren't natural Jake customs. You know, those things came from the nations. Okay, those things came from the nations, and those are their things. We learned their way. All right. Now we're gonna get Proverbs 29:2. And then we're getting to the point we were just making. But Proverbs 29:2 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, and Esau's got this whole assimilation, cultural assimilation, and integration thing going on. All right, and it just doesn't work because we can't integrate because we're separate people. All right, we are separate people. All right, Israel is separate from Esau. Esau is separate from Moab. Moab is separate from Ham. Ham is separate from Amalekites. Amalekites is separate from Ishmael. Ishmael is separate from Ammon. Ammon is you see what we're talking about? You see what we're getting here? All right, even all the nations are separate people. Now the nations are the heathen nations, and they're all heathens, but they're separate people. They have different things that they do differently. But at the end of the day, they fall under the category of a heathen. All right, just like the Gadites, the Gadites, the Issacharites, the Judites, the Levites, the Benjamites, Manasseh, Ephraim, right, Judah, all right, Levi, Benjamin, all right, we're all a little bit different, but we're all Israelites, just like the heathens are all a little bit different, but they're all heathens. We're all Israelites, they're all heathens. We're all Israelites, they're all heathens. And you can't really culturally assimilate any of those together, right? Now, the things that'll blend the mess together is heathen with heathen and Israel with Israel. Of course, all of Israel is going to get along because we're being brought in back as a whole, all right? And we don't have that, you know, right now we might have a little bit of separation, but that's going to go away in the kingdom, all right? That separation, all right? That, you know, that separation that's felt, that's going to go away in the kingdom. But, you know, right now, the heathens are the heathens. That's just how it is. They can't assimilate with us. We can't assimilate with them. They might be able to assimilate a little bit between themselves, all right, into their things, because, you know, one heathen to another. One's eating, you know, pigs' assholes, and this one's eating sheep's. No, not sheep. Sheep's fine. Not asshole. You can't eat asshole, obviously. But, you know, one place is eating pig's asshole, and the other one's eating octopus asshole. All right, so, you know, it goes from one to the other. It's like, oh, well, you know, over there we have pig asshole, but octopus asshole is a little bit, you know, we can still try that. So they're doing all those wicked things so they can still easily get along with them. All right, us on the other hand, should not be. All right, should not be. All right, and Jake, as much, you know, in their fucked up state, they will try to assimilate. They will definitely try to assimilate. All right, but at the end of the day, you know, why I'm getting treated different, I don't understand, because you're not them, Jake. You're not them. All right, you got black dudes, so-called black dudes. All right, and that term just alone shows you how fucked up things are. Black, void of light. All right, you got Jake out here. All right, so-called Negroes, doing what? Drug dealing, slanging, right? They're doing thieving, all right, lying and murdering and shooting each other, right? And you got the black woman, you know, doing all, you know, they want Jake staying in the state. They want the man to be worried about what? Basketball, football, being a rapper, drug dealing, being a pimp, That's about it. Now they want the girls, the Jake women, to be worried about being a hoe. All right. BBLs, butt lifts, tit jobs. All right, having big old fat titties and asses. All right, worrying about their hair. All right, to the extreme level, and not to the point where it's nice natural hair, but worrying about their hair because what are they beaming in their brain? Oh, you have to have straight hair. You know, they have to, you know, all this, you know, what's the shit called? You know, God damn it. What's that fucking shit called? The shit, like that liquid, what's that shit called? They have a name for it. It's not straightening the jaw. I know what the shit's called. For some reason, it's not the curl. Yeah, really. I mean, look at this. This is how they want you women. This is an example. I went searching for the name of the shit. I can't remember the name of the shit. You know, and they have the curl gels and all that stuff. But they have they have stuff. Relaxer. God damn. Couldn't even fucking think of the name. Relaxer. Fuck. Simple word, couldn't think of it. Relaxer, that was it. It came to my mind. Alright? Call all you how about me out shy because I wouldn't have remembered. Look at this. This is how they want, look, dream kids. And look at the whole box. The whole box is a fucking psyop. African pride. We're not African. Dream kids, like, oh look, this is the dream. With straight hair. Olive miracle. Alright? Anti-breakage, no live cream relaxer system. Children's regular. And I've heard, you know, I watched a thing that all the girl wanted to be on the relaxing box. All the little black girls when they were young wanted to be on the relaxer box. All right, why? Because they are the most beautiful. Why are they the most beautiful? Because they have white people hair, right? White people hair, which is fucked up because white people hair look like, you know, weird. All right, it just looks weird. It don't look good. All right, it looks like some fucking. It looks like something that belongs on a heathen. Look at that. Look at this. You got this natural or wavy hair. All right, and here, let's go to this. Look at this hair. That's beautiful, man. She's fine. She's gorgeous. All right, she's gorgeous. But then you know you got look at this shit. Ain't no. You ever notice the funny thing is that Jake wants to look like Esau, and Esau wants to look like Jake. Jake out here steady using skin whitening creams and straightening their hair. Meanwhile, Esau's going out and going into tanning booths and crimping their hair and curling them. What the fuck is that, man? It's because you know it's fucked up. It's confusion. All right, look at this, and it don't look good. You trust me, you women, you look better with your natural hair. You know, us men, we like big old afros. We like the nice curly hair. We like this stuff. Look at this, these nice twists and braids and these, you know, look at this. This is how a woman should look. All right, this is how their hair should look. That's beautiful hair. Natural hair is the way to go. All right, that straight shit, fuck that straight shit. It looks fucking stupid, and it especially looks stupid on you Jake women. All right, and especially when you go to the extra step of retardation, you put in blue contacts. All right, and then big old red lipstick, walking around looking like goddamn some fucking Bozo the Clown. All right, or some shit. All right, don't look good. It looks dumb. All right, and best be assured, this shit has all sort of that fucking weird chicken powder in it. You know, from that movie. You know it has all that shit in it. All right, probably goes down right to the root of your brain. Root of your brain. All right, makes you feel insecure, like you'll never be good enough. All right, and this is what they show you. You young black woman. They start at a young age. All right, and just until recently, they didn't really have black Barbies like that, so-called black. All right, when I'm saying black, you know, assume I'm saying so-called black. All right. But, you know, because there's no such thing as black, you know, unless it's, you know, speaking of the color of, you know, asphalt, that's black, okay? But this is how they want you to stay, all right? White women are the definition of beauty, you know? You have to have a small waist, you have to have green eyes or blue eyes, or you have to have straight hair, or you have to have light skin. No, I don't want you looking at looking like one of those goddamn fucking creatures from The Descent, all right? Or The Ascent, you know, the Descent movie. Fucking looking like this and shit. Alright, like some weird fucking Edomite. No, you don't need to look like that. You know? Looking like a goddamn cave beast, man. Alright? You look up cavemen, they don't look like us. Alright, sometimes they make them look like us now to fucking throw everybody off. See, now they're making them black. so-called black. That's what they're making them look like. Nah, no, no, no. Cavemen looked like this, like the Geico one. All right, that's how cavemen looked. All right, you want to look like a caveman, Jake? You want to look like a caveman? You want to look like this? All right, look, has everything you want. Has the shaggy, nasty ass, ratty, fucking quarter smelling ass, dog ass hair. It has the blue eyes. All right, all that shit. Dumb. You want to look like an Edomite? Fuck. Disgusting, bro. We don't. Our women are beautiful. Not when they look like this, though. I can't stand when I see a Jake woman with fucking stupid ass, straightened ass, burnt ass, frizzle fried ass hair. All right, it looks dumb. All right, I don't. If I wanted hair like that, I'd go and date a white woman. All right, and I'd rather not. All right, I'd rather not. Who the fuck would, right? I mean, you know, our women are messed up, but hey. Whew. I don't like no Edomites, man. All right, so let's get Jeremiah 10:2. This is so yeah. This is the, you know, straight hair and this and that and that and this and this and that. That's what they've made you. That's their ideologies, and they've beamed that into your brain, and they've made you a fucking clone. All right, because you know, and not literally, you know, dragging your ass into a lab and cloning you, but spiritually, you know, and ideology wise and cultural wise, you became a clone, Jake. All right, because you see, you know, it's just generation upon generation, man. It's just generation upon generation. You have, you know, fucking Run DMC type shit, and then it goes into, you know, NWA, and then from NWA it goes harder than that, and then from that it goes harder than that, and now you have, you know, fucking all these dumb songs. I'ma make him bleed. And it's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? I'ma cut him open and cut out his spleen. I'm just like, god damn. All right, and it gets worse and worse, and because of that, that's becoming bred through the generation. All right, and it got worse, and then it got worse, and then it got worse, and then you want to be these guys because they want Jake to be like rappers and basketball players and all this sorts of shit. All right, and that's what they put in front of you. That's the music that they put in front of you, just like they clone Tyrone. All right, and you've become a clone because of it, man. You've become a clone because of it, and that's not your ways. That's the way of Esau Edom. Esau's the murderer. Esau's the drug addict. Esau's the homosexuals. Esau's the idol worshiper. That's their things, but you've learned them, and you're not supposed to. Jeremiah 10:2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. The heathen have a reason to be dismayed at the signs of heaven, because they know the Lord's going to come back and kick their ass and bash them over the head with a folding white chair. All right, they know that. All right, they're going to get fucked up. All right, but however, you Jake, all right, well, some of you Jake are going to be dismayed because you're the 2/3. All right, you're the 2/3. All right, and you 2/3 ass, you know, Jakes, all right, out there, you Pookies, you Ray Rays, you Spookies, all right, you Mr. D's, you know, and all that shit. All right, you Redfoots and running stabs, all right, or whatever, you know, just stereotypical fucking names for so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right, just stereotypical names for our people because that's how our people act. They act like, you know, the same that they've acted for years. All right, the same that they've acted for years. And who put that ideology and the mindset in the first place? Esau Edom, and you've learned their way. Those are those ways. They're the homosexuals. They're the murderers. They're the drug addicts. There's the thieves. But now Jake is the one that's pictured as that, right? You see what they've done? They've cloned your ass, Jake. All right, and they didn't even have to do it physically. They didn't have to pick you up and take your blood and go and that. All they had to do was assimilate you into society and have you fucked up mentally. That's all they had to do. All right, and now you know, and now look at you, fucking pitiful. Let's get Proverbs 3:31. I gotta wrap up here. Proverbs 3:31 says, "Envy thou not the oppressor." Look at the long hair. Look at the long this, the long that. Yeah, look at the oppressor. Look at the flat asses, the no titties. Look at the ugly skin that has all the marks over it that burns in the sun. Yeah, look at the hair because they're hairy as fuck. All right, look at how women have to shave. The white women have to shave their legs so much. Look at how they have you know, their hair gets, they have bad hair and it fucking shrivels away as they get old. All right, it turns very brittle and it snaps and it's not strong and it ends up receding in their age. All right, look at how their skin doesn't stay healthy and they age at an alarming rate. Yeah, envy all that, Jake. Envy all that, right? And something to envy? Fucking dumb. Envy thou not the oppressor. There's nothing to envy. What is there to envy? That they have nice houses? Yeah, but they look like a fucking goblin, man. All right, so envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways, none of his ways, none of the homosexuality, none of the stealing, none of the killing, none of the straightening your hair, none of the putting contacts in, none of the dyeing your hair. You know, black women want to look like they ain't even black women anymore. All right, they have to dye their hair blonde, straighten their hair, make it straight, and then they have to put on red lipstick. They have to put on that skin lightening cream. All right, and then they have to put in blue contacts or green for what? So you can look like the uglier person? They don't make no sense. But that shows you it runs deep. It's mental, man. All right, it's all that fucking edge wax and well, not you. You wouldn't even get to the edge wax point. All right, you wouldn't even get to that point. You know that it's all that fucking relaxers and all that shit that you're putting in your food and that makeup. You know they have that shit in that makeup. You know they have that chicken powder in the and that's probably gonna be a running gag now for me. If I say chicken powder, you know what it came from. They cloned Tyrone. That chicken powder. All right, that shit that makes you act different. All right, that chicken powder. Okay? So if you hear it now you know what it came from. That was probably going to be a running gag with me. All right? You Jake fucked up on that chicken powder, man. All right? And that's, you know, they put that chicken powder in everything. They're putting it in your sodas. They're putting it in your drinks. They're putting it in your makeup. They're putting it in this. They're putting it in that. And if it ain't the chicken powder, it's the music. All right? If it ain't the chicken powder, it's the music. So now you have a big amalgamation of chicken powder and music having you fucked up. All right, now you're a black woman that wants to be a white woman, and the white women want to be black women. Everything's all mixed up, muddled up, and fucked up. It's Babylon, man. Babel means confusion, a confused noise. If you look up the word Babel, it means a confused noise. Let's look it up. Babel. What is Babel? Define Babel. All right, a confused noise made by a number of voices. All right, you know, commotion, Babel. All right, confusion. And that's what Babylon is. Babylon is confusion. All right, black women looking like white women looking like black women, so-called. All right, Asians looking like, you know, Asians dressing. You know, here Asians dressing black. You know, and you can't find it, but you know, some, you know, that like look at it. And some of them might be Jake, but if you look up you know, trying to dress like Jake and shit. All right, and of course heathens don't do it necessarily right. They don't pull it off as well. But look at this, and there's a lot of Jake over there in Japan. All right, a lot. Rest assured, there are a lot of Jake over in Japan. How can you tell? Because the fucking drip, man. The drip. All right, now not everyone that wears this shit is a Jake, but who do you think over there made this style? You know, Jake the one with the fashion, man. Jake the one with the baggy ass clothes, and you know it was Jake that did it. All right, but look, now everyone want to be like us. All right, they want to look like us. They have the baggy clothes, look all cool. All right, you know, and that's a little ridiculous. You can tell they ain't got no style, but everybody wants to be like us. All right, and that's why I put this little this tagline here. It says the way you Jakes act came from the heathens. Everything you learned came from the heathens. The things you eat. All right, pork. That didn't come from us. We never ate pork. All right, crawdad, shrimps, or as you say, scrimps, right? Or what else? Lobster, crab, catfish. That ain't from us. We never ate that shit. All right, we never ate that shit ever. That ain't from us. That's from heathens. So your culture, Jake, it ain't even your culture. It's our culture, brother. It's our culture. Yeah, your culture is a fucking lie. Your culture of Jesus Christ, a lie. Your culture of eating pork and going to fish fries, all right, with the fish fry being fried as the catfish, not your culture. Heathen custom, all right? All those things, okay? Your culture, all right, is holiness, righteousness, right? Keeping the high holy days, right? Being royalty, actual royalty, not this fucked up version of royalty. It's not even royalty. I won't even say a version of royalty because it's not royalty. This fucked up whatever this is that's paraded around as royalty, which it ain't, all right? If you ever seen the royal inauguration, it just looks like a bunch of little kids that are playing dress up, all right? That ain't real royalty, okay? You don't even know what royalty is, all right? You haven't seen it, all right? Not for several generations at least, all right? Not since we went off and the Lord cast us out of our land, right? You haven't seen royalty. We're gonna hurry up. I gotta head down to the work site, unfortunately, all right? This one went on a little longer than I thought. We've been almost in 44 minutes. At least we got, you know, a good chunk of it. All right, this is Isaiah 1 and 21 through 28. How is the faithful city, Israel, how is the faithful city become an harlot? A harlot's a whore. It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Thy silver has become dross, thy wine mixed with water. Silver, all right, is a pure metal. All right, dross is any metal that's not silver that got mixed in with it and polluted it. All right, so your silver once pure, right? It's now dross. Thy silver has become dross, thy wine mixed with water. Now you have some diluted ass wine, right? It's diluted. Nobody wants no watered down drink, especially wine. All right, thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. So now you're hanging out with thieves and gangsters and thugs, right? Everyone loveth gifts and falleth after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doth the cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore saith the Lord, the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries. What's an adversary? An enemy. It says, and avenge me of my enemies. An adversary is really someone that's being an adversary, you know, going against what you're doing. All right, that's why they're separate. There's adversary and enemy. An enemy is an adversary. All right, an adversary is an enemy, but they are two technical different things. An adversary, if we look up that word, adversary, all right, it says one's opponent, all right, a rival, an enemy. It's another word for enemy, but it's a little bit different in definition. I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of my enemies. How's he going to do that? He's going to kill a whole lot of people, all right? The Lord's going to kill a whole lot of people. And I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin. He's going to get away all that bullshit that's got in there, all right? And what's that dross? That doctrines, that philosophy, all right? That heathen customs, all right? That's what's in there, all right? That's that dross. That's got to go away because Jake fucked up on that shit, all right? That Jesus juice, that's got to go away, all right? His name's not Jesus. His name's Yahweh Shai, all right? The Son's name, the Father's name is Yahweh, not God, all right? So the Father's name is Yahweh and the Son's name is Yahweh Shai. All right, when you call on them, you got to call on the Father through the Son. All right, so you'd say Bahashim, which means in the name of. So it would be Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. All right, but you Jakes don't know that. Why? Because you get that dross, man. That dross, part of that Jebus demon. You know that Jebus demon is part of the dross. And who's that been bestowed by you? By a heathen. All right. It says, and I will in verse 26, and I will restore thy judges as at the first. So you're gonna be restored, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward, thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Continuing on, it says Zion, and Zion is Yahweh Shai's favorite place because he has a favorite place. His favorite place is Zion. All right, out of Israel, his favorite actual place is Zion. All right, that's mentioned in the Lord's favorite things. All right, Zion is his favorite place. All right, and Jordan's his favorite river, right? Isaiah 1 and 27, and of course we got that information through the Apostle Gabar that recently did that lesson. Excellent lesson. I can't remember the name, but it's recent if you watched his lessons. Isaiah 1 and 27, Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. All right, and then continuing on, it says in verse 28, and the destruction of the transgressors, what is sin? What is sin? Transgression of the law. So people that are transgressing, all right, the Lord, all right, transgressing the Lord. All right, and the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. So the transgressors and of the sinners. All right, so you're going to be destroyed right along with the heathens, Jake. All right, unless you repent and turn from your ways. That's how it's going to end for you. All right, Zechariah 13 and 8 details that even more so. All right, let's get it. Zechariah 13 and 8 says, I messed up. There we go. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third part shall be left therein. Like you. It says, and I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. So, Lord willing, we're part of that third part. All right, the elect. All right, we're going to be going through hell and torment and some certain shit. All right, because we got to be tried. We're being spiritually, cleansed. All right, we're, being tried as gold is tried, melted and brought back, and melted and brought back, melted and brought back, purging those infirmities, right? So I will try them as gold is tried, and they shall call upon my name, and I will hear them. I will say it is my people, and they shall say the Lord is my power. Okay, but that first part, what has to happen to them? It says 2 parts. 2 parts. Well, I should say those, not the first part, but those first 2 parts. All right, what's going to happen to them? 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. All right, so they're gonna have to die. That's how their melting and refinement process is going to have to go. They have to die, and they're going to have to be reborn under the elect in the kingdom. All right, but the elect is going to be purified and purged here. Not purged, but purged of their dross. All right, here on earth. All right, we're going to be refined. Lord willing, we're of the elect. All right, so we're going to go through hell, torment, shit. Right, we're going to go through hell. All right, and all sorts of it. All right, but the Lord's he won't, like as the scripture says, we're not going to be tested above what we are able. All right, He's going to bring us through things that He know we can go through, but we have to go through hell to learn what heaven is. Right, to learn what heaven is, we have to go through hell. All right, and heaven, not necessarily as the Christians view heaven, but what is heaven? Heaven is if you look at the definition of heaven, all right, heaven says a place regarded as various religions and as the abode of the Most High, and the angels of the good and the angels and the good after death, often traditionally depicted as being above the sky. Okay, the promised land, the righteousness. All right, how can we understand righteousness without being through what we had to go through? All right, so hey man, it's a process. All right, in order to know what heaven is, you gotta learn what hell is. All right, and we're going through hell. We're in hell. All right, we're in hell now. All right. But Amos 9, let's get Amos 9 and verse 8. All right, it says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom." All right, the sinful kingdom of who? This is Israel. All right, the 2/3. He's upon you, sinful Jakes. He's watching you. It says, "And I will destroy it from the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord." He's not going to kill all Israelites. Okay, not going to kill them all, but what's going to happen? It says, "For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth." So He's going to sift Israel, all right, and part of that process is that, the sifting is killing. He's going to kill off Israel, all right, some parts of it, all right, but of course, they're going to be, die on this side. They're going to be in the kingdom, though. They're not going away, all right, they're going to die in Babylon, all right, or in earth, wherever they are now. All right, when Yahushua comes back to save His elect, they're going to die. They're not going to be saved. All right, but they will be reborn in the kingdom through the elect, through the people that got saved, right? So He's going to sift Israel as a sieve. All right, so, when you sift something, say if it's flour, all right, in this case, it's using corn. All right, and I'm not sure how corn is sifted. I've never sifted it. All right, but for flour or anything, or sugar, you're sifting it because you got those big-ass blocks of sugar. All right, what you could do is you sift it, and all the good stuff falls right through, right? But the bad stuff is at the top, all right? All the blocks of whatever it is, it might be a lump or a certain shit that you don't want, certain bigger grains, or certain things you want, all that shit. And what do you do with that when you're done? What do you do with it? You throw it in the trash. You don't want none of that stuff. All right, you throw it away. In this case, the Lord's not going to necessarily throw it away, but they're going to be dead, and they're going to have to be rebought back in righteousness through being born of the elect, right? That's how it's going to go. Okay, but what do you do with all the stuff that fell out into the bowl or whatever you're doing? You use it. That's what you bake your breads with, right? That's the sugar that you use, right? And so that's just how it has to go, man. So a lot of you Israelites, you act like you've been cloned, and the way to fix that is your death. All right, you're gonna have to be put to death, and Lord willing, we don't have to go through that. Lord willing, we're of the elect. All right, So the elect, the apostles and elders on down. I myself, you brothers, you sisters, right? We're all hoping to be part of the elect, all right? We're all hoping to be part of the elect. We don't want to be a 2/3. We don't want to have to go through that terrible process, all right, and be put to death. All right, if we got to go through hell, we got to go through hell, but it's all through the glory of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're doing it for the Lord, all right? We're doing it for the Lord because He's the only thing that matters. It's the Lord. He's the Lord. He controls everything. All right, there's no partying, no pork eating, no, and you can party a little bit, but not like, the world's version of partying. You go out with a few friends or something like that. That's fine, the brothers in the truth. All right, really, you shouldn't be, really hanging out with, I'm not going to really speak upon that too much. You're not really supposed to be, hanging out too much with people that aren't in this truth because it's just not, it wouldn't be smart. All right, it just wouldn't be. All right, you never know if they're going to try to pull some shit. But if you do, I'm not going to say that, you're wicked for it. I think, there might be someone that does, but it just I would not recommend it personally. There's been times I've thought about it, but they're not like us, man. They're not like us. They're not like us, okay? They're completely different people. So, and hey, they're clones, right? They're clones. All right, those people that aren't in this truth, they're basically clones, man. So, how can a clone be hanging around with a real person? You know, it's not recommended. All right, but hey, that's about cultural assimilation. That's about you know, how Israel acts like they're clones, and it's not through the physical process of cloning. All right, which isn't one way or another if that happens or if it isn't happening. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, you know, through doctrines and ideologies. All right, a lot of Jacobs become clones. All right, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and close out. All right, Lord willing, the session was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught us this truth and rule well. I want to say shalom to Akim Nakwath out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Stay the fuck away from that chicken powder as much as you can, right? You know, hey, you know, and you know, it's in the food, but you know what we're talking about when we say chicken powder. You know, that Babylonian wine is really what it is, man. It has you fucked up. So, hey, don't act like a clone, all right? Until the next one, Lord willing, shalom.